Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Take two. I guess Vinny's still muted. Vinny, I think you're still muted. So
that whole time I was muted.
Yes, and I was too slow and too stupid to get to my phone in time. So whatever you said.
Oh my goodness.
Happy
Devils Saturday.
Intro. I guarantee that was the best intro all season.
Happy Devils Saturday. Welcome to Game Day Live presented by the Let's Go Devils podcast.
Oh, hold on. We gotta do take three. Take three. Let's start all over again. We gotta start all over again, guys. Stand by.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. Welcome to Game Day Live presented by the Let's Go Devils podcast network and the Primetime Radio studios along with Ann Crew Brew. Make sure you go to joinourcrew.com. My name is Vinnie Parise and I am here with my good friend Shorts Guy, and we are happy to get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Montreal Canadiens. Welcome to all fans watching on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, Twitch. The Devils are looking for a huge win over the Montreal Canadiens, and we don't know what we're doing technology-wise whatsoever.
Exactly. Yet we can broadcast for over 3.5 hours from a parking lot at Giant Stadium. So we figure it out. Like now, we have it figured out. Vinny, it's good to see you as always. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little rattled. I don't know how that happened. It all of a sudden was muted and then it wasn't. I did not in any way intend for that to happen. Sometimes mistakes happen, obviously. As we see with the Devils, we see mistakes happen all the time. But honestly, it looked like it was working. Like I said what I said. Yep. You had your normal chuckle at the beginning. For some reason, you just laugh when my face comes on. I'm so ugly. And then, like, when I said my good friend Shorts Guy, you gave, like, a little extra smile. It literally looked like it was working.
Yeah, no, I saw you talking, and I just couldn't get to my phone quick enough to say, hey, Vinny's muted. So, but, hey, here we are. It's working. We have people here at American Whiskey. Hey, Vinny, you know what I should have a sip of?
What should you have a sip of, Shorts Guy?
I should have a sip of.
Do I know?
Do you know? It's red.
Is it red?
It's red.
It's red.
It's right
Show
here.
it to the camera.
What do you got,
Ann
Vinny?
Crew Brew. Join our crew today and drink Ann Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together, one crew at a time. I love Ann Crew Brew.
It's so
what a
good.
good
It's
drink.
So good. Oh, it's so
Are
good.
all those folks surrounding you? I see you got some youngsters behind you. You drinking Ann Crew Brew with everyone?
I'm trying to. But, yeah, we're having a good time here. The bar is pretty packed. It's, you got people outside. I got family in town for the game. I got my good buddy Chris who wants to stay off camera here to my left. It's a good day, and we're going to get some good Devils hockey. So a good friend of the podcast, Paul Marino, earlier was talking to him. So it's a good day, Vinny. I've heard a little bit of insight. I thought it was an Ann Crew Brew going out. Heard a little bit of insight. It looks like we may have Akira Schmid in net, according to what I've gotten a text message on. But I'm not 100% positive. So
that makes sense.
It makes sense if he was called back up. It makes sense because, and I still don't know how to pronounce that kid's name. Polter, I think, is the pronunciation of the name. That would be a big deal to put him in. But Montreal, not for nothing, probably wouldn't be a bad first NHL start for him.
It wouldn't. I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. Per Amanda Stein,
Okay.
1 minute ago, Nico Dawes leads the New Jersey Devils onto the ice for warm-ups. He is your starter against Montreal. Isaac Poulter will back up.
Okay.
So that's the interesting thing right there.
We were misinformed, but so Hey, Nico Dawes has been playing well, and looking at the Ranger game, which I know none of us want to talk about because of how horrific it was. But looking at that Ranger game, man, he was hung out to dry a bunch of times, and you know me and my goaltender bias, man, I hate to see that because I know what it's like. I know that feeling. Our defensive game on Thursday was terrible, and you and I had high hopes going into the game that it would be a Devils victory. Sure wasn't. It was terrible.
It sure wasn't. And the last time the Devils played Montreal, it was not a good thing. That was not a good thing at all. But Jack Hughes wasn't playing. Jack Hughes is 3-0-0 in his career when Cole Caulfield is on the other side, his good buddy. He seems to get a little extra juiced up playing against his old line mate. I'm hoping that that's something that happens today. He did keep the Devils from being shut out in their most recent game against the New York Rangers by scoring a pretty nice goal on Shesterkin later in the day. Or later in the game, excuse me.
Just shooting.
Exactly. Just shoot the puck.
And
what are you expecting to see from Jack?
I'm expecting to see Jack to turn it up. You know, he's not been playing well. The team is not. So we went into Thursday night going, oh, we're on, with on a downswing, whatever, because that one game against Washington. But this is 2 clunkers in a row. Now it's pretty bad. So we need Jack to really turn it up, be the leader that we know he can be, to be the leader that he is. And I'm passing it in Brew underneath the camera. We need Jack to be a leader and to take this team on his back, to be that force on the ice that we know he can be, that he should be. You know, Nico's the voice in the room, the calm, collected voice in the room, and Jack is that big, heavy voice on the ice that's full of passion and needs to lead by example. But to play the game that he's here for, and that's to be that skilled player, not the player that's trying to do too much, which I think we're seeing a lot of players trying to do way too much currently and not playing their roles because the team's not playing well as a whole, as a collective.
No, they're really not, and it's something that needs to get – I mean, that just sounds so, obvious, like it's something that needs to get straightened out. But,
yes.
I didn't love the game that Luke Hughes and Simone Nemec played, and I know that they are too young. One's 20, one's 19. Those types of games are going to happen. People are getting
now.
on them.
I think they're both 20 now.
They're right. You're right.
Now.
I think they are. You're right. And it's like they're both rookies, though, and they're both really having admirable seasons for being, the age that they are with the experience that they are. But you see games like that against the Rangers, you hope they come out today and really, against a weaker team, put up a really good performance.
2 Anchor Brews going right by me here, and I didn't order them, so I love seeing that. Agreed. Defensemen are harder to hide in your lineup than a developing forward, and these developing defensemen got basically vaulted into this. Well, you're no longer allowed to be you're no longer allowed to be a developing defenseman. You are the defenseman now. And we knew that was going to be tough. We knew that was going to potentially cause some trouble. And sure enough, it's coming to head. I mean, in that game on Thursday, that first Lafreniere goal, that's on Luke. You don't have to be cute. Try to cut back. The easy play for him, and easy for me to say from watching and not being under the pressure there. To me, the easy play is it's chipped to your left behind the net, to, I forget whoever was coming as the second defenseman underneath, instead of trying to make that play, which squibs out to a wide open Lafreniere who just steps in on Dawes. It's like, oh man, it's there's just a lot going on.
There really was a lot going on, and it was hard. It was kind of a hard game to watch by the end. Yeah. I was really really, is this really how this game's going to go against the Rangers of all teams? It was terrible. It was just absolutely terrible. And the fact that there were chants of Igor at the Rock, it just made me absolutely sick. But you know what? You take with the good with the bad. That's going to happen sometimes. It's going to happen sometimes against the Rangers. We beat them in the playoffs the last 2 times they met. So, it's one of those things it's been going well overall lately, but just over the past handful of games, it's just been atrocious. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. They're soft. We saw Nathan Bastian take that hit to the face. He's going to miss the whole game today. He came back and played last game, which makes me question the New Jersey Devils' medical approach. Yeah,
agreed,
what was going how was he able to come back and finish the game? They were off yesterday, so it's not like something happened in practice. It's just very weird that it's almost like, did he come back to prove a point or something like that? Like, that's not how you're supposed to handle those types of things. But, it is what it is. They're just soft. They don't score on the power play. They're clicking at 12-point-something% since Dougie Hamilton's injury. It would be one of the worst power plays in the history of the NHL if they didn't have that amazing stretch where they were the number one power play with Dougie Hamilton. But, I mean, it's bad. It's just not good right now. The Stadium Series game was this all-time high, and they haven't come down from it yet.
Agreed. And I've got a longer tirade I'm probably going to go on Sunday night about Devils fans not showing out on Thursday. We'll leave that for the Sunday Night Big Show. It's going to be another one of those short guy rants that seem to be pretty entertaining for some anyway. But, yeah, the power play doesn't look very good. And then I disagreed with Lindy coming out Thursday afterwards and saying that it was, partially on the press for putting pressure on these players. When he said that, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, the press is supposed to put pressure on the players, but the players aren't doing well on the power play. Like, and I get it. He's got to protect his players, and he's doing what he can, and he's deflecting from the players. But that's where you see the difference in coaching styles from, like, let's say Lindy versus a Tortorella that'll come out and say, yeah, our guys suck. Like, but then again, we're not in the room. We're not at practice. We don't know how these kids handle criticism. But, maybe they need to hear that they suck on the power play right now. Maybe that's what they need to hear from the head coach. Maybe they need to hear that, from coming from him to the press. I don't know. I'm not in the room. I don't know the personalities. So it's hard for me to say. But that kind of really bothered me a little bit. Like I understand why you were doing it, but I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me at the moment when I was watching on Thursday night for the post game.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all, to be honest with you, because I'm thinking, like, how many huge reporters do the Devils have where, like, what they say is, like,
that aren't paid
it's
by
like
the
Novo.
Team?
Yeah, that aren't paid by the team. It's Novo,
none.
It's James Nichols, and then Christie. There's really only like 3 or 4. Us, but we're not there.
We're not there, yeah.
But like, we're criticizing them and talking them up when they deserve it. I'm just like, with Lindy Ruff, what would happen if he was the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where, like, they get scrutinized times a billion compared to the Devils? Exactly.
He would have been fired a long time ago.
Oh, he would have been fired they would have ran him out of town so fast.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so light. It took them to be 13 for their last 100 and something power plays for people to even start bringing it up at all.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean there's pressure from the press? Like, this is kind of a newer conversation, even though it's pretty much been a dog crap power play since November.
Yeah.
So, that was just a very dumb, tough, bad, no good comment to make. And, when he told Novo that he doesn't do a good job watching the games, I didn't like that either. Like, you don't got to insult people. Novo's not insulting you. He's not saying you suck. He's questioning something hockey related. And that comes with the business. I can't believe what I'm hearing at times. And I'm not out here all fire Lindy, but, like, at some point I'm going to start to wonder, like, what would this team look like if they did make a coaching change?
Yeah, and it seems like we've struck a little bit of a nerve in the YouTube chat. Some people are also talking about it as well. I don't know, like, something's got to change. Something has to change, and we really need a change if we're going to make the playoffs, because we had a slim margin of making the playoffs as far as wins and losses were concerned, and it's becoming slimmer. And we really, like, that Ranger game, that was huge. That was a Metro Division game, lost those points. The Washington game, Metro Division game, huge points, lost those points. These games at hand that we have are dwindling. Before you know it, we're going to be on an even keel with everyone, and we're not going to be getting the points we need.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, you see what Detroit's doing. They were winning their game right now. I think Patrick Kane scored like 30 seconds into the game or something like that, and they've been on a tear ever since. Where do you stand on people who criticize Tom Fitzgerald, who basically, up until this season, which really up until like December, the Devils were like on this up and coming trajectory in everyone's opinion, and Tom Fitzgerald's a large part of that. There isn't much that he hasn't hit on, in my opinion. There are people that want to get rid of him. I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's a tough one because he's done a lot of good up until now, and the phrase recency bias kind of creeps in because we're not doing good this season as good as we were last season. I really feel like that last season we punched so above our weight that our expectations were like way up here when the team was probably capable of what we're looking at today and this season of being right there in the hunt. And last year was, I want to say, an anomaly and a little bit ahead of schedule. But I think he's been smart. He's been conservative when it comes to bringing in players. And again, it's one of those things where it's so difficult to criticize because we don't know the phone calls he's making, nor do we know the phone calls he's accepting and the conversations that are happening behind the scenes. It's one of those things where for where we are to where we were, you got to give him a ton of credit. Is this season the best right now? No. Do we have space and room and cap space that we can be playing with? Yes. But I think ultimately we don't want to sell the farm just to try to make the playoffs this year with the potential of questionable results once we get there.
During the game on their last game, I'm already forgetting what day it was, I had a tweet that went, I'm not going to say it went viral, but a lot of people, it had 42,000 impressions on Twitter, 700 likes. Like, it got big. I said trading Seamus Casey and Alexander Holtz for a 30-plus-year-old goalie would be moronic for this New Jersey Devils team. Keep growing, keep building. This isn't the year.
It would be, yeah. It's a recency bias that, we saw Markstrom play very well against us. And recency bias says, yeah, he's the guy. He's awesome. He's the reason why they beat us, blah, blah, blah. But he's on the wrong side of 30 at this point. And granted, I know 30 is not old, but for the NHL, 30 and a goaltender, you're starting to be on the wrong side of your career right there. And it's just, I don't think that will be the case. On top of that, the Flames are going to want a lot. With them being in a somewhat close playoff run, if they're going to give up one of their key pieces that's getting them near the playoffs, they're going to want a lot. And Seamus Casey, you've been high on him for a while, and that's a tough one for me. Saros, yes, I as much as I don't want to make this trade right now because we have not solved the defensive problems. But I would probably accept Saros more than Markstrom at this point because Saros still at 28 is still on the good side of 30. That could be a solution for 4, maybe 5, 6 years at the absolute max.
Yes, I agree with that. I do like Saros. I'm cool with trading for
I've liked
UC
him for
Saros.
a while. I've liked him for a while.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
As a member of the goaltending fraternity, I've seen him play, and I like his play. I think he's a good goaltender, and I would love to have a goaltender of his type here on the Devils. We have to make sure that what we give up is going to be worth the return, because we're looking at a lot of people criticizing what we gave up and what we did to get Timo here, and everyone loved that trade last year, but now all of a sudden everyone's like, criticizing that trade. I don't want to be in another situation where maybe people are saying, yeah, bring in Saros, bring in Markstrom, and then this time next year, everyone going, why did we give up Seamus Casey? Holtz is playing phenomenally. That's what I don't want.
Yeah, I still hold out. I have a lot of hope for Timo Meier. I think when he's healthy and when he's going, he really can be an impactful player, whether he's scoring goals or not. I think, and he's still really young. It's not like he's old. Yep. He's having a tough year. We've seen guys have tough years, especially power forwards. But, for the most part, when the entire fan base rallies around wanting one guy, it ends up not working out. It's just odd how disconnected the fan bases are compared to actual hockey operations people. They wanted Nikita Gusev. He turned out to be a stinker. All these people that the Devils end up wanting to get, and then the fans, if they do get them, it ends up really not working out. So far, Timo Meier hasn't worked out. It can. I believe it will. I still really do believe it will because I've you don't just forget how to play hockey at 26 years old. He's been injured. I hate saying this. I do think Lindy Ruff is holding Timo Meier back. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but if there's one player on the roster that would benefit from a coaching change, I think it would be Timo Meier. Because he'd probably jump right into the top 6 and play with Hughes and Heischer again, which is obviously an advantage. I also think having a guy like Dougie Hamilton back would help Timo Meier because a defenseman
huge.
like that creates so much space for a power forward like that. And we saw it when Timo was with Erik Karlsson in San Jose. Like, there was just so much extra room because of the space created by Erik Karlsson. Those are the things that I look at. So Timo Meier is going to be fine. But, this season, I don't know if this is the year to go all in. I just don't.
No, not with the way we're playing right now. If we were comfortably in the playoffs or comfortably right on that line, towing that line, maybe. But we're not there yet. Like, there's, again, the defensive woes have to be solved before we do anything. Because without defensive woes, without fixing those defensive woes, we're not going to get very far in the playoffs because you need good, solid defense. I was talking to a good friend of the podcast, Justin, who's here with Jake again. Build from the goalie out. Build defensively. You got to build out defensively. It's not just a run and gun, hey, we'll figure out defense later. Let's just score goals, because when they dry up, your wins dry up, and that's what we're seeing. So,
Absolutely. So, Shorts Guy, we're at that point of the show where we're going to ask people to throw their predictions in the chat right now.
We are.
And while they do that, I want to hear your prediction.
All right, so the Devils have had a tough stretch of games in the last 2. We just got our Sam Wu prediction. It's a matter of which Devils team comes out into this game today. Montreal should be a victory for us, but we've seen these Devils not do well against opponents that are below them, and that's what I'm afraid of. However, again, I love my New Jersey Devils just like you love your New Jersey Devils, my New Jersey Devils, our New Jersey Devils. I'm still going to predict them to win today. At some point, I got to get one of these right because I've gotten none of them right so far. I'm going to say 4-2 Devils victory today. While I'm in the building, my brother's here, my sister-in-law, my nieces are here. It's my one niece's first game. The older niece, she's going to have to get a Timo jersey because he was the first player to score that she saw live in person. So we're going to see what my younger niece is going to have to get as far as a jersey, see who scores for the Devils first tonight. 4-2, though. 4-2 is my prediction.
I just pray it's not someone like Tomas Nosek or Curtis Lazar who's only going to be here for a year. That's the only thing I'm praying for for your family's sake.
I could live with her having a Curtis Lazar jersey because I love him.
That's fair. No, I love him too.
He's one of those, like, he's like one of those Cam Jansen type players. They're like, okay, he was here for a little bit. But damn, is he a good player and seems to be a really good human being as well.
That is true. The camera follows him around, too, is one thing I've noticed.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some of these. We got Ted says 5-4 Devils. He's there right now. Hello, Ted.
Ted was here. I saw Ted. I saw him here earlier.
Morgan says 6-1 Devils. Ramona Rice says 5-1 Devils. MC Sports says Devils 4-2. Joseph 5-0 Devils. Steve Engel 4-2 Montreal.
Yeah, no, you're not supposed to read them.
I know. I was just rolling off, and that one came out like I wasn't thinking.
I know.
He already made his prediction for tomorrow, which I will not read. You can't make your prediction for tomorrow without seeing what happens today.
Let's get through today first.
Yeah, for realsies. Max says has to be 4-2 Devils. Not too close, not too much of a blowout. Has to be an empty net goal to make it 4-2. Beach says 6-4 Devils. JP wants to know, is Poulter in? No, Nico Dawes is starting for the New Jersey Devils. So, and then, of course, Shorts Guy, I'm going to predict the Devils win this game. I'll say 5-2. Go out there and just really take Montreal down. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
Sam Wu says 13-6 Devils. I don't love the idea of the Devils giving up 6 goals, but I love the idea of them scoring 13. They're one of the handful of teams left that have never scored 10 goals in an NHL game.
I would take a 13. I would take any victory at this point right now. Any
victory. 1-0 in a shootout?
Yep, any victory.
Absolutely. Go out and get the 2 points. Thank you to everybody watching. It was a very fun Saturday afternoon show. Thank you for cooperating with us starting a little bit later and then me having my stupid sound not working issue. That won't happen. That won't happen again for at least 2 games.
At least.
We'll go at least 2 games without technical difficulties. Probably not. I hope everybody enjoys the game. Go Devils. Thank you to Sam Wu. Thank you to Short Sky. Short Sky, enjoy the day with your family, drinking Ant Crew Brew. Very excited for you. Those types of days are incredible.
Absolutely. And it looks like I'll be here for After Dark as well. So, hey.
There you go.
It'll be After Dark in the day since it's a day game today. But, hey, can't be perfect.
Devils After Dark, before the dark, after the game that was today. Go to joinourcrew.com, sign up for everything where you could get up-to-date notice on our live events. And as always, let's go Devils.